Revenge films.
My name is Julie. My boyfriend Mason and I are head over heels in love, and we're living together as a trial period before marriage. With marriage just around the corner, our conversations were getting more practical. So, what kind of life do you want after we get married?
Well, first of all, we'll both keep working, right? We'll split the rent 50-50, and I'd like to have 2 kids.
Sounds good. I want to have my first child before I turn 30.
And if either of us gets sick or injured, obviously we'll use our own personal savings from before marriage, right? Also, if we get any allowance money from our parents or inheritance, we'll split it 50-50 between us.
Wait, hold on a second.
What?
I hate to say this about Mason, but there's a gap between our family's financial situations. My family is a middle-class household with decent assets. Mason comes from a more modest background, living in an apartment complex, so his talk about splitting inheritances rubbed me the wrong way. At the time, I told him, inheritances and stuff are way down the road, so we don't need to get into all that detail yet, right? He didn't seem to have thought about it much either, so he just said, yeah, you're right, and that was that. Time passed, and one day Mason told me about something that happened at work.
My coworker's wife has such bad morning sickness that she had to be hospitalized.
What? Is she okay?
She's probably fine. I mean, she's at the hospital now. But man, my coworker really drew the short straw. Talk about a bad deal.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, his wife's morning sickness was so bad she had to quit her job. So now he's gonna be the only one working. Man, he should have married someone healthy like you.
But isn't that just something that happens when you get pregnant? You never know, I might get really bad morning sickness too. When I said that, Mason looked absolutely shocked and asked me if I was prone to severe morning sickness. But there's no way I'd know that now. When I told him so, he said something that floored me. Can't you find out at the hospital? If it were that simple, pregnant women everywhere would have it so much easier. And then to top it off, he asked me, so you're planning to mooch off me if you get pregnant? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Women risk their lives to have children. Even if you can work for a while during pregnancy, morning sickness, risk of premature birth, the final trimester, there are so many reasons why you might not be able to work, and especially after the baby is born. But Mason hadn't thought about any of that. He was just telling me not to burden him with anything. I wanted to snap back and ask what he expected me to do, but I figured we'd just end up fighting, so I held my tongue. That day I just let it go, but as I laid alone in the room reflecting on everything, I could feel my feelings for him just draining away. Mason's way of thinking is seriously messed up, isn't it? Obviously you can't predict morning sickness. And that money stuff is bothering me too. The next day, when I saw Mason, yesterday's topic came up again, so I decided to go on the offensive. Hey, Mason, do you know when you're going to die? Like, what year and what month?
What's with the random question? Of course I don't know.
But if you don't know the date, how can I prepare to take care of you?
There's no way to know that. Julie, what are you even talking about?
Oh, that's just an excuse. Normal people can figure it out. I mimicked Mason's gestures with exaggerated movements. Ugh, and don't you dare come mooching off me the second you're bedridden, okay?
What the hell? Are you making fun of me?
If you go to the hospital and get tested, they can tell you when you'll die, right? It's about your own body, so you should check it out properly. That's exactly what you told me yesterday.
What? Is this some kind of payback for yesterday?
Nope, that's just an excuse.
See, it is payback. Pregnancy and lifespan are completely different things.
What you said yesterday and what I just said are exactly the same, though. Well, if you don't get it, that's fine. I'm going back to my parents' house starting today. Bye.
Wait, hold on.
I grabbed the bag I'd packed the night before and headed to my parents' house. When I told my parents everything, they were absolutely furious.
Mason said that? That's just ridiculous. He has no common sense.
Bringing up splitting your parents' inheritance before you're even married? Oh, that is completely inappropriate. Those two were even angrier than I was, the person it actually happened to. Before I knew it, I had a ton of missed calls from Mason, but after I blocked him, he switched to texts.
Who do you think you are, storming off like that? It's not too late to come back now. Running after your parents? What are you, a child? Grow up!
Can you believe that? Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. I ignored his messages for a while, but when I didn't respond at all, Mason must have gotten fed up because he showed up at my parents' house. But my father answered the door and sent him packing. After that, Mason texted me again saying it was cowardly to use my parents. But my determination to break up with him wasn't wavering. If anything, it was only getting stronger. Then he had the nerve to say that since we were engaged, if I suddenly decided not to marry him, I'd have to pay him damages. Apparently he'd shifted from trying to get back together with me to just wanting to squeeze money out of me before breaking up. So I decided to visit his parents to tell them we were breaking up and explain exactly why. When his mother heard what Mason had said, she was absolutely livid. She bowed down before me in apology, saying, "I'm so ashamed of my son. You were right to leave him," and immediately called him over. When Mason arrived, he came in yelling, "How dare you drag my parents into this, you coward!" But his mother grabbed him by the scruff of his neck and punched him square in the face with a closed fist. "You stupid boy! Do you have any idea how much women suffer to bring a child into this world? And you told her not to mooch off you? A real man would say, 'I'll support you,' without a second thought. And you're not even married yet, and you talked about getting allowance money from your families and splitting inheritances? Who would want to marry someone with such a vulgar mindset?" With tears welling up from the pain, Mason tried to say, but he just looked so pathetic. It really is disgusting to be thinking about what happens after our parents die before you're even married. His mother kept apologizing, saying she was so sorry for raising such a son. Along with his father, she bowed her head to me repeatedly, and of course said they'd accept the broken engagement without question. Mason was whining. It's not fair to quit a job just because of morning sickness. But then his father brought up the time Mason had norovirus and couldn't stop vomiting for 3 days and nights.
Morning sickness? For some women, that kind of nausea can last for months and they need IV drips just to survive. Could you handle that? If you think you could still go to work like that, then next time you're in that condition, I'll gladly kick you out of the house myself!
Mason's face went very pale. He couldn't say another word, as if he'd just experienced how brutal it really was. After that, Mason and I officially ended our living arrangement. His parents insisted on covering all my moving expenses and the deposit for my next place. Mason, with his face still pale, had no choice but to accept it. And so our marriage plans completely fell through. But get this, even after getting reamed out by his parents, he was apparently bad-mouthing his coworker's wife behind her back at work, calling her a bad deal and making fun of her. When that got out, everyone tore into him, and all the women at work completely ostracized him. He tried saying, "That's not what I meant," and claiming he'd reformed, but everyone just ignores him now. Well, he brought it on himself, so I don't feel sorry for him at all. In fact, serves him right. As for me, I'm single again, but if I meet my soulmate next time, I hope it won't be someone like him. I want to find someone who will truly cherish me.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.